Okie doke. Right, couldn't update your status. Let's try it again. Okay, let's see. I'm pressing the post. There's a problem updating your status. Please try again in a few minutes. I've been doing this all morning, folks, right? I'm going to show you something, right? Couldn't update your status, right? This is symptomatic. Okay? Going to leave this page. Yes, we have to leave. Now, I'm going to sign into my other account. So, just one sec. I'll keep it running so that you know. Right? The thing is, right, I want you to realise that this stuff is going on. Okay, test. Should I post that? Just that word test. Oh look, it works straight away. What a coincidence, eh? Coinkydink. You see this page? Oh, you know me, in the top 20. Yeah? Hates them, that does. Hates them. He's in the top 20. Hates them. So we'll just post test there. Let's see if it works, because I'm logged in with this account. And the thing is, it wasn't allowing me to post to this page anything before. Now that's allowed, because I was trying to show my music. Now I'm going to jump over to this bit. Look, this is my music, this is my page, my intellectual property. Okay, look. See this? This is from Reverb Nation. It used to have a big bloody page on there with all my music on it. Now someone has taken it off and they're trying to infringe on my intellectual copyright. Now let's go back and see if we can discover why that is the case. We're going to log out. Okay? And in your eyesight, we're going to do it again. Right? We're going to log in again. Yeah? Right? Going to log in again. Okay, let's see what happens now. Ooh. Takes a long time to come back, you see. Right? Let's see if the word test is allowed. Yeah? Got to do it the right way. Test! Is it allowed? Is test allowed? Is the word test allowed? Is it being allowed? Think. Oh, it's allowing it now, but let's do it again. I am being censored. Let's post that. Let's see whether the word's censored. Oh, there's a problem updating your say just because it says the word censored in it. And this word is banned. No, it's not censored. There's a new word. It's called loving. Yeah, we're lovingly taking all your words away. We're lovingly trying to exterminate you. And you've got to be quiet about that. You can't talk about the extermination of people. No, you've got to be quiet. You see? Because they couldn't update. It couldn't update it. But you've just seen with your own eyes, haven't you? You've just seen it with your own eyes. I don't know how much more you want to see about this fascist dictatorship. The word censored is not allowed. Anything like that is not allowed. Do you know why it's not allowed? I'll show you why it's not allowed. Yeah? Let's see if we can go on to here. Notes. Yes, leave this page because you're not going to let me post that. Right, let's see what happens with this bit here, because I've been talking about this, right? This is on my notes. We've got a note about Peter Fay, we've got a note about David Greensmith. But I put a lot of notes on here, including my fee schedule and things like that. Now it seems to me people are limiting this. And I've put a picture up of it from the other day on my Facebook, and it's still doing the same thing. Ticky, ticky, ticky. You're not allowed to see. You tell me what's going on. I know what's going on. But do you know what's going on? It's called censorship. Do you know why I'm being censored? I will show you exactly why I'm being censored. Right? Peter Fay, the Chief Constable, first notice, 23rd of the 6th, 2013. His address, notice to agent, notice to principal, notice to agent. You know that one. And this is just the first notice. So God knows what he's going to do with the second and third and the affidavit, because he can't speak to me the way he speaks to others. I'm telling you, he needs to know his facts. And I think he doesn't know his facts. And I think he's scared that if you know the facts, then you might try to do something similar. And that's why we're being censored. You see, this has also been sent by way of recorded delivery to Peter Fahey and David Greensmith and the Prime Minister, the Right Honourable David Cameron. Now, in it I've mentioned about habeas corpus, because the liberty of the subject is affected by decisions that are made by this man. This man, Peter Fahey, has said he was a witness, and he witnessed me, according to him, driving. And he said, without without third party or such a security. A security. It's interesting, because when I asked him what this is, he can't respond. In fact, there's a few words that he's used in his documents that he doesn't seem to know the meaning of. And you'd think that this guy, considering he's applying things, rules that are written down on paper, they're not imagined things, these rules have to be written down. And he obviously clearly doesn't understand the meaning of them. Now, you can go on my notes and you can read the whole thing, but it's basically when he broke in. I'm charging him £500 for this letter. I mean, that's cheap for me, as you know. I can charge anything I want. I'm a writer. I get paid for my writing. Okay? And basically, I sent a statutory declaration asking him to prove what he's saying, basically. He said he saw me, and I asked him, because I noticed that he was taking costs for a victim, indicating that there was some kind of crime taking place. Well, if there's a crime taking place, and there's a victim, who is this victim? Because you've claimed money for him. And if there's no victim, then that's fraud, isn't it? And the other thing is, this isn't the first time he's done it. And this is how it all now directly relates to what's going on Facebook, and how everything comes full circle. How we are together are going to prove that anything you write on Facebook is being directly used by these agencies to directly injure you and attack you through the public services and denying access to basic services. Now that, as you know, is unlawful. That's against their oath of office. Okay, and whenever they do things, they have to do things by the book. Right? They are prescribed these things. It's part of their job. And you see, because Peter Fahey is a Catholic, and I've noticed this, because he's quite proud of being a Catholic. Nothing to be ashamed of there, we all believe in God, or we hope we do. And therefore, we should have something common in interest here, But I notice it says in the Bible that thou shalt not bear false witness, and I believe false witness has been given by Peter Fahey. See, the thing is, he said there was a victim, he said there was a crime, and he said he was the witness. And I believe all them things to be a conflict of interest, because clearly he's done this type of thing before, and the court system is all wrapped up in taking their assumptions and just dumping it on you. Now, first of all, I'm on benefits, and the law entitles me to a minimum amount. Yeah, there's a minimum amount that I'm entitled to, and any less than that goes below that minimum amount and would therefore be breaking the law, because I am lawfully and legally entitled to that money and access to facilities that provide food, clothes and shelter. Those things are written in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 25. He should know all of this. It's part of his job to know this. Right? It's also part of his job to know what common law is. Okay? And you see, common law is really the law of the land. This is the law that they're secretly hiding from you, and what they're trying to do is get us tied up in legal contracts where they write to you, and if you don't respond, they assume that what they've said is correct. However, we have what is called a lawful remedy. Part of that lawful remedy is legal recourse. We can write a letter back. We can talk to them. Now I've decided that I'm going to write my letter back. See, in the initial instance, Peter Fahey and his officers have caused so much problems and so much stress to me, yeah, that basically he was trying to pile it on me. Okay, and I was dealing with other things at the time, and plus, I'm not here to serve Peter Fay. Right? I've got things to do. I'm busy. I'm a musician. I like to write music, and all these things just are infringing on what I'm doing. So now it's becoming an infringement of my intellectual copyright. And my lawyers at the PRS are very, very interested in this because they know they can get a lot of money out of this. Now, there's no doubt in my mind what is going on here, but we're going to prove that these people have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. Right? So I've asked him to prove his jurisdiction in all cases. I've also asked him to define legal definitions of the following words. We have, please give your legal definitions and legal sources of the following words. That means the books where he got this information from. A, beneficiary. B, executor. C, trustee or fiduciary trustee. D, the grantor. E, public servant. You see, you're supposed to know what all these things mean. They're all legal titles. Mr. and Mrs. Although, for those that know, that's actually Misters. G, master. Define it. Define society. Name the society. Now I hear everybody talk about society, but no one can name it, or is willing to name it, because it reveals a lot about what's going on. Also, he needs to name what a driver is, because I don't understand that. You claimed I was a driver, but you see, as far as I'm concerned, we have the common law right to travel. Yeah? A driver is a commercial activity that's engaged in commerce. That's like being a taxi driver or a coach driver. Yeah? You're a driver when you are driving somebody, when you are doing it as a business, as a trade. Otherwise, you're not doing that. You're just travelling. There's a big difference, a massive difference, because one, you need to be insured for liabilities against other people, but the other one is an inherent right. And that inherent right, yeah, it's like walking down the street. You could just bump into somebody and maybe you could cause an injury, but we're not insured for walking, are we? It's the same thing. And again, in the Magna Carta, it says that no man shall be deprived of his horse and cart. Now, as you know, all automobiles, or commonly known as cars, are measured in horsepower. Okay? So the spirit of the horse is still with us. Yeah? So when I say a vehicle is again another corporate word. It has a definition. And he should know this. And I put underneath that automobile, because there is a difference. It's a private conveyance is an automobile. A vehicle is a company asset. Okay, and this is what's covered by the Road Traffic Act. Again, the word act. If you define what acting is, an act, it's quite clear, isn't it? Also, he needs to define what private property is, and what a traveller is, and the common law right to travel. He should know that. It's part of common law. He should know what insurance means. He should know how to define it. He's using these words, so clearly he knows what they mean. License. What's a license? Register or registered. What does the word regis, the king, mean? You know, what does registered mean? What does owner and property rights mean? I mean, you see, he's bound by law to know these things. He can't just go making up laws. He has to know what he's talking about. So I'm just seeing if he really knows what he's talking about, because I don't believe he does. You see, owner and property rights is different from a keeper or a registered keeper. Again, that word registered comes up. What does it mean? Because it's quite important. Then he's used the word security. So I want to know what that means, as in such a security. And I've pointed out to see his letter. Also, he has made an order. Now, as far as I'm aware, when you make an order, the person making the order pays for the purchase. That's the legal definition of the word order. You know, you don't just do something because someone tells you to do it. Usually, you know, because we're not in a slavery system. If someone makes an order, say a hamburger and fries, you pay them for it, right? So if they want to make an order to me, surely they should be prepared to pay for it, and they know my fees. So I've sent them this to let them know what my fees are. Anyway, we'll continue. What does the word trespass mean? He must know what that means, because I had these notices all over my property. You know, he likes to send people around in my absence, smashing down doors. He's got a habit of that. And I think that's a bad, evil habit. What does witness mean? Come on, what does it mean to really witness something, eh? He says he was the witness. And also false witness. Yeah, and victim. Who is the victim of this crime? Because if there's no victim, there is no crime. Simple as that. That's common law. And crime is right beneath that. So define crime in common law. The two are going to be connected. Also to define a conflict of interest, because it seems to me he's got a conflict of interest. He also needs to define monopoly, the words legal and illegal, and give examples, the words lawful and unlawful, and give examples. The words appeal, he needs to explain. He needs to know what inherent human rights are, different from what he's trying to push. Because does he have the jurisdiction to go against human rights? That's breaking one law to serve his own purpose, isn't it? Natural person and body corporate. The unnatural person, yeah? There's a difference. Common law. Yeah? What is common law? You should know. Acts and statutes, such as in the Road Traffic Act. There's that acting again, they got a uniform on. See, when these people go home and they take their clothes off, do they behave that same way all the time? Or are they taking on a specific role for a certain time? And are they doing it for free, or are they getting paid wages? You know, if one of their staff, say a policeman, because they have rank and structure in most of these things, if the boss orders somebody to do it, are they doing it for free, or are they doing it because they're being paid? You understand what I'm saying? So they wouldn't accept it, so why should I accept it? Right. Consent. What is consent? Because I know we're governed by consent in this country. We're not in a slavery system. The laws are absolute, and they're, you know, these are inherent laws. They're natural laws. They can't just be taken away just because someone says you can't do that. There's a lot of confusion going on in these people's minds, and I believe it's time for us to prove to them what is going on. I don't want to see that. Get off. Okay. For all I know, you're just trying to ruin the video. Yes, whatever. You're maybe trying to ruin the video. I'm not interested right now. Obliged. Am I obliged? What does the police say to you when he questions you? Am I obliged? Jurisdiction. Yeah, they have to have jurisdiction. You know, in common law, that's what makes it a crime. Otherwise, they haven't got anything. And this is why I think Peter Fair said he's seen it, he's witnessed it. Because without him witnessing it directly, because there was no crime, there was no injury, there was nothing, they claim victim costs. And to me, it seems the victim costs are for themselves, for their office and their administration, which then leads to this malfeasance of public office. He must know what that is. And if he's into malfeasance, he must also know what treason is, and how and why it's automatically treason if you happen to be a Catholic while in public office, because it's assumed that you are taking your knowledge of what is right and wrong, which is based on Catholicism, which is against the laws that the Queen of England has prescribed. And these things go right back to Henry VIII, yeah, when the church separated, okay? And it basically said that Protestants, all Protestants of the land, are protected from Catholics. And any Catholic seeking to unlawfully enforce a jurisdiction on them is automatically committing high treason by the virtue of the fact that they have ignored the monarch of the state, the law of the land, and have decided to put their own idea of what is right and wrong. And if their ideology is Catholicism, they are saying that the Pope is the head of the church, which, as you know, is against common law in this country. It's against the law of the Queen and the crown and the throne, and that automatically makes it treason, and that law has not been changed. Theft. You should know what theft is. He's a policeman. Come on. Surely you can define what theft is. If you can't tell me what theft is, why are you a police officer? Criminal damages. Surely you know what that means. Come on. That's what you call all the time. You say, oh, we're looking for the criminals. Well, define it. Church and state. Why is God important in law? I mean, he should have no problem with that.
What is the oath of Queen Elizabeth II of Great Britain, and why does it contain your primary function as a peace officer? Who is the lawgiver? Conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, you should know that as well. Although they say these days, oh, there's no such thing as a conspiracy. That would be like saying that people are censoring you, you know, unnecessarily, and infringing on your intellectual copyright, conspiring together using various public bodies, using public money to pervert the course of justice. Yes. Theory, assumption, fact, proof, lack of proof, tangible, lies and truth, responsibility, duty. I know what my duty is. Do you know what your duty is? Due diligence and due process. You need to know what that is. Oh, I love how these things just keep popping up. Not interested. Stop trying to ruin my video. Judicial review and peacekeeper. Now, you need to know that. Failure to answer all these questions and send all requested fees within 7 days of this notice is your tacit agreement that you do not have the necessary jurisdiction in law to carry out the actions against me, and you, Peter Fahey, accept full liability for all damages and all fees, due remedies to be provided by you as stated herein. This is against the private man, by the way. You know, because I'm not messing about with these people. I've seen what's been going on with Michael Doherty, and I'll tell you something about his case. The reason why he didn't get through is because he used a lawyer. And he only got rid of the lawyer, apparently, to what he said, 2 days before the final verdict was given. Now, that's no time at all. Your lawyer had set you up good and proper, and this is what you need to learn, okay? Them lawyers are working with this structure. If this structure was to disappear or to be proven unsafe in any way, they'd be out of a job. And not only that, if you was to represent yourself, then they wouldn't be making any money. It's in their interest to keep creating these situations. So we've got the Law Society that's also a part of this, I believe, trying to drum up business by, you know, because they're the policy underwriters. They write the insurance. And hazard bonding insurance is crucial and vital to everybody who's in a public office or doing any kind of job, whether it's in corporations or working as a public servant. Because if they make a mistake, they cause an injury, loss or a harm or any other kind of you know, shenanigans, fraud or anything like that that's going on, then they need to be able to compensate it. And you see, them in their little job with their little wages just wouldn't be able to afford it. So we have insurance, and they have to have it. Anyway, you can go on and read the rest of it. I'm sure you'll find it very interesting reading. And as you know, here's my fees. Alright, this is what he owes me, by the way. Okay, the breakdown is he broke my door and I got charged for 2 doors. They said they would fix it, they didn't fix it, they left it, and then a year later I get the bill off the housing because they had welched on the deal and been dishonourable, and then act like they don't know about it. Well, I've kept all my paperwork, I'm not an idiot, okay, and I copy and share paperwork. I make sure that there's so many copies backed up. There's just, you just better pay me the money, simple as that. Right, £500 fee for writing a letter, £675 for making a fraudulent claim. Now I've told him already that this 675, if you move one digit, a unit, from the 7 onto the 5, what do you have? 666. That's what he was charging me, with this victim costs and all of that. And it's like weird because it's all unlawful and you're just telling me 666, mate. A lot of people will, oh, well, how did you get to that from that? Listen, right, they couldn't directly say 666, could they? So they did the next best thing. It's an Illuminati joke, okay? And if it's not a joke, and if it's nothing to do with that, you can quite clearly say in his letter, I didn't do that. And prove to me why, justify why that figure is what it is. You know, what's it for? What does it represent, this 675 that he's charging me? You see, because he's done all of that, he's caused me a lot of stress. I've had to basically, because of these people, what did I realise is that they are creating, right, problems for themselves. Because this wasn't going to happen. And this has all happened because they continue to unlawfully persecute the sovereign citizen. Actually, I'll scrap that because that's an oxymoron. Sorry, that was a mistake. But actually, they perceive it as the sovereign citizen, but what it is, we are sovereign beneficiaries.
Yeah? A sovereign citizen is an oxymoron, because a citizen represents someone who's a slave. Citizen, lover of the city. A sovereign, yeah, they are free. It's like Django. Django obtained his freedom through the realization that everything that they're promoting is contract law. He became a bounty hunter and started being liked by the system because he was bringing in people on these contracts and making them money. And this is kind of what these people are. They're like Django's. But it all depends on, you know, your virtue. And the thing is, he owes me £54,000 for stress. Okay? And that is the minimum recommended figure. These are the government's own figures here. So, I'm being fair, because I could have charged a lot more. You know, I charged £20,000 to write to the police. That's my figure. That's my fee. That's why you're blocking it, because you don't want people to see that these things are accurate and true. You're trying to discredit me. And in also trying to discredit me, you're discrediting yourself, because I'm just going to reveal exactly what you're doing more and more. Because there's lots and lots of things people have not seen yet. Lots of things I'm holding close to my chest. And if you're not careful, right, it's all going to be revealed, because it's all connected with you. So, simple thing to do is pay me the money that you owe me, right, and make good the wrongs that you have done, remedy me, okay. You cancelled my driving license. Now, if I so choose to do business or commerce, you're trying to deny me the right to be employed. So, I'm sorry, but that's unlawful, and it's against Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Okay? Simple as that. It's unlawful, and you know it. I've not caused any injury, loss or harm to anybody, but you've taken it upon yourself to invent these fees, these figures. And I'll tell you what else is going on as well, because I am aware of what happens. I'm aware of the connectedness of all these different departments, and how all of a sudden, because I send these notices, the CSA just went into my money and took money like they are a court. Do they have a license to practice law? No, they don't. They're doing it unlawfully. I noticed Ian Duncan Smith is in charge of that department. They've sold that off. I'm going to do another report on the CSA, because they are another criminal organisation. And it's Ian Duncan Smith, once again, because he is the head of the Department of Work and Pensions, and that has now been sold off almost like a private entity. So you see, it's now become a company, a service, that's being run and managed by members of government, but it has nothing to do with government. So you understand what's going on here. And again, when they send social workers around to threaten and harass my children, my wife and me in my home, when we're doing nothing wrong, it's just because I post on Facebook. They're criminals. And I'm going to show the world that you're all criminals. I've got tons and tons and tons and tons of videos I've not put out yet, where you're all talking like idiots. And when I talk, it just shows the world how little you know and how idiotic you are. And you know, when this reaches court, right, you're going to be shown up. You're not just going to pay this money, you're going to be shown up in front of the world. So I hope you're prepared. Now, there's one way you can deal with this, because I'm a nice guy really, but you piss me off and you stress me out and you owe me the money. So there's lots of things in your position you could do. You could try being nice, Peter, because all of this trying to put pressure on me, I just turn my focus directly to you, and I attach liens to you. Right? And I see everybody that's conspiring within the government. Since I've posted this directly to 10 Downing Street, you're supposed to be leaving me alone. Okay? Not trying to cause more problems. So anybody who works for the government, like the HM Revenue and Customs, yeah, making up figures, just out of the blue, sending me, oh, you owe £54, blah. Really? Where'd you get that figure from? How come you've just come up with that? That's a load of bullshit, innit? It's bullshit. You know what the truth is? Right? You can't stand that I'm correct. You can't stand that you can't answer my questions, and you can't stand that you don't know what you're talking about. Right? And it's going to be proven in a court of law. And if you try to deny me my lawful remedy, it's going to go bigger, mate. Right? You're on the edge of a war crime right now. You're on the edge of it. So just keep doing what you're doing and providing me with all the evidence I need. People are going to copy this, people are going to download this, people are going to save this, people are going to share this, and they're going to look at you. Because I'm telling you now, there's probably not a person in this country that's bright enough to help you right now. I'm telling you now. You've tried it,
with your people, legal advisors, 24 years of knowledge. Yeah, well, we'll see what they know. Because they should be able to answer it then. Surely, one of you should be able to know what you're talking about. Do you know what you're talking about? Do you know the words that you're talking about? Because I don't understand you. Right? All law is contract law. You need to look at some of these maxims of law, because really, you're way off the mark. Way off the mark. And now you're interfering in my right to speak, my freedom of speech. Yeah? If it's not true, show me why it's not true. Don't block my pages, right? The BBC did it as well the other day, and I'll show you why the BBC did it, right? Let's move to BBC. Yeah? Because they keep posting these vaccines rubbish. Vaccine, 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 vaccine. That's all the BBC want to do. Right? They don't like it when you prove that they're wrong. They don't like it. I wonder if they've deleted it. Maybe they deleted it because it did look really bad on them. Hey, you know what? They might have deleted it. Well, that's alright, because we'll just keep doing it. We'll keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. Because the truth is the truth. And I'm only quoting what the government says. That's the thing you hate. It's the thing you hate, isn't it? See, I don't want to make any of these things. I don't want to talk about this stuff. You know, sometimes it just pisses me off. I'm more interested in the things like acts of kindness. Yeah, that's what they've done. They've taken it off. You can see now. Those of you that know, right? Know that I'm not talking rubbish, right? I prove everything I say. So the BBC. It's all about the BBC. Let's see what the BBC knows, because I think the BBC is lying. I think the BBC is part of a fascist agenda. Okay? They're not there to give you the news. No, 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 no. They're there to spread lies and gossip. This is the truth that they're avoiding. Right? The UK government, vaccine damage payment. Let me tell you something. Right? You don't pay for something that doesn't exist, do you? UK government. Okay? I am correct. I am correct. And you know what they did? They tried to force my children to have vaccines. When I told them my children are allergic to the vaccines, and their vaccines has damaged my children, okay? My two youngest children were damaged by vaccines. When I took my son into hospital, they was trying everything to deny the liability. And I told them straight, the vaccine has caused this. It was literally within, 12 hours of him receiving the vaccine. Bam, he's ill. And this was a child who was never ill. You see, the vaccines reduce your immunity. The things that's in the vaccines, they won't even tell you what's in there. The doctors, they're supposed to tell you all the risks. Otherwise, it's malpractice, isn't it? So have you ever in your life heard vaccine damage payment? Because if you haven't, and you've got children, or you know people who've got children, and they've had the vaccine and they've not been told of the risk, it is malpractice automatically. Automatically. That's what they hate. They hate the truth. Let's go on to the web page, shall we? Let's go on another web page. You're going to love this one. This is going to crush their lies. Their lies. Right? They're all lies. Have you heard of the Ministry of Ethics? So often it just comes straight up. Boom! Ministry of Ethics. Vaccinations. If you go and look, you'll find out there are rules on these things. And don't just read the first line, because it doesn't tell you anything. But when you get to it's been over 100 years, right? There's no excuse for not knowing the law. The penalties for non-compliance were removed, which enabled parents to obtain exemption for their child if they did not believe the vaccine to be effective or safe. So even if they could prove it was safe, you just have to have a belief. Do you see what is going on? Right? Now I have documents, evidence, written by them in their own hand. Because they are trying unlawfully, conspiring repeatedly, over and over, doing unlawful things, sneaking into the school, right? Interviewing my children when the law says they are not allowed to do that. Do you want me to see that? It's on the Ministry of Ethics again. It tells you, right? Go on the Ministry of Ethics. Look at everything.
Yeah? Look at the UK, look at what your own government is doing. Compare that to what the law says they're allowed to do. You're going to realise these people are acting way, way, way outside their jurisdiction. In fact, that jurisdiction does not exist. Public servant is a public servant. He serves, he does not rule us. Right? The Prime Minister is simply the prime public servant. Right? He doesn't rule you. He's not God. Right? He has to get voted in. He has to get consent. Let me show you where their power really falls down. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Right? The UN. Don't fall for their crap where they like to put shit up there, right? Let's go to the UN organisation. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Okay? All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act toward one another in a spirit of brotherhood. Okay? That's another way of saying, do unto thy neighbour as you would have them do unto you. You're going to find all the laws that they try and pull out and expand and blow up and all the rest of it. They're all based on the Ten Commandments. Okay, they're based on the eternal virtues. That's why I go on about it all the time. Love is the law. It's the reason why laws exist. Article 2, everyone is entitled to the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration, without distinction of any kind. And then they give a few examples, such as race, colour, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth or other status. Furthermore, no distinction shall be made on the basis of the political jurisdiction or international status of the country or the territory to which a person belongs, whether it be independent, trust, non-self-governing or under any other limitation of sovereignty. There's that word sovereignty. They tell you sovereigns, oh no, it doesn't exist, you're making that up. Then they say all these sovereign citizens, which is their made up oxymoron bullshit, which shows you that they don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, to confuse people, because they know people are starting to hear about it. They know people are starting to wake up. We shall continue in what they do not know. Let's educate ourselves. Everyone has the right to life, liberty and security of person. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And you see, rights, they're not arbitrary. You don't discuss it. You don't go to a committee and say, can I have my rights, please? Like they tried to do with Michael Doherty and say, oh, he's won his rights. Yeah, he won them. He won his rights. Think about that, people. He won his rights, or he's got rights. Anyway, we'll move on. Article 4. No one shall be held in slavery or servitude. Right? Slavery and the slave trade shall be prohibited in all their forms. Now, what does working for £0, 0 pence mean? Is that not slavery? Well, we shall continue because they shall be revealed. Article 5. No one shall be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhumane or degrading treatment or punishment. Right? Now, everything that they're doing is because I'm correct. And they're trying to treat me in a cruel and degrading way. To punish me for knowing the truth. Okay? Punish him. He knows too much. How dare he read what we've printed? Yeah? Everyone goes on about Alex Jones. Oh, he's wrong, he's wrong, he's wrong. Listen, Alex Jones is not the government. Right? Alex Jones did not cause the problems. Okay? You go on about Alex Jones or Gerald Celente or any of these other people that are revealing to you the truth and just asking you to ask that question or go read this article. No, you've got this stumbling block in your head because it's fear. Fear that you're wrong. Nobody likes being wrong, do they? That big fucking ego in your head don't like being wrong. Oh no, don't be wrong. Everyone's got to be right all the time. It's the way we teach them in schools. You make a mistake, Johnny, we're going to punish you. No wonder they're like that, eh? What about teaching children? Do we punish children all the time, or do we try and, gently educate them? Loving admonishment instead of, or this criticism. Is it constructive or destructive? We shall see. Alright? What they're doing is destructive, damaging. Everyone has the right, in Article 6, to recognition, everywhere, as a person before the law. Now, that's an interesting word, person. Needs defining.
We have the right, of course, to have a person. I have a person, it's my straw man. Okay? These are the tricky areas. That's why you need to get them to explain what they're talking about. And what law are they talking about? Are they talking about common law? Are they talking about contracts? I believe they're talking about contracts. Everyone has the right to have a corporation. Okay? And have your logo and have it recognised. This is where intellectual property comes in, folks. I know about it. Okay? Article 7. All are equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination to equal protection of the law. All are entitled to equal protection against any discrimination in violation of this declaration and against any incitement to such discrimination. Do you understand these words that I'm saying to you? I hope you do. Article 8. Everyone has the right to an effective remedy, by the competent national tribunals for acts violating the fundamental rights granted to him by the Constitution or by law. Now, I thought Michael Doherty won his right, but here he already has his right. So what are they talking about? Basically, they're saying, oh, unless you go in our special little room and complain to our own people, so we can tell you to get lost, and that you're not going to have justice today because we just want your money, slave. Do you understand what's going on? We have a right to an effective remedy by the competent national tribunal. Do you think these courts are competent? Because I don't. I don't even think they know what they're talking about. I think every time you get a letter, I think you should underline every single letter, every single word, and say, what do you mean? Because I really don't know what they mean, and I don't think they know what they mean. They're talking in gobbledygook, backwards, nonsense talk. They contradict themselves. Having had the, this, that, rubbish talk. Yeah? They just write to you and everyone goes, oh, yes, I'm guilty. You don't even bother to read the question. No one, right? No one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest, detention, or exile. Seems I'm in all of them on in Facebook, which is really a psyop to try and get people used to the fact that they are controlling us. Right? Article 10. Everyone is entitled in full equality. Everyone is entitled in full equality to a fair and public hearing by an independent and impartial tribunal. Are our courts independent from the government? Because this is where the problem lies. In the determination of his rights and obligations, and of any criminal charges against him. Where is this independence? Where do we find it? Could it have something to do with our own titles being MR, Mr, standing for Master of the Rolls, which, for those that will look it up, it means that you are the Civil Minister for Justice. So I think the clue is there that we are the Minister for our own justice. And you get your own justice by doing these things, knowing the law, asking the questions. Everyone is entitled to full equality. That's what it keeps saying. Everyone charged with a penal offence has the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, according to law, in a public trial at which he has had all the guarantees necessary for his defence. That means your lawyers and the money that you need for your administration and everything else is paid for by the government. And if it's not, they've denied you a universal human right, and it makes it a war crime. Now, do they still have the legal aid? No, they don't. They stopped that. So, therefore, they're denying access. So, they've broken this one already. No one shall be held guilty of any penal offence on account of any act or omission that did not constitute a penal offence. Now, is travelling a penal offence? Alright, let's just go some mad place where they live, right? And let's just say I was driving and I was conducting business at that time, but there was no victim. And so because there was no victim, there was no crime. But they're claiming that it's a penal offence and that they can penalise, punish, charge a fine, a fee, penalise, penal offence
under national or international law at the time when it's committed. So, listen, it doesn't matter whether it's here, it doesn't matter whether it's abroad, it's international law. Nor shall a heavier penalty be imposed than the one that was applicable at the time the penal offence was committed. Now, in no such case was there a penal offence committed, because I'm not a criminal, right? I just know what I'm talking about. But it seems to me that they want to take away all my money by stealing with the CSA and stealing with them. They went directly into my money, which is benefit, which the law says there's a minimum amount that I'm entitled to, so therefore they broke that law, which is a war crime. Because we're going to get to that, right? No one shall be subjected to arbitrary interference with his privacy, family, home or correspondence, nor attacks upon his honour and reputation. Everyone has the right to protection in the law against such interference or attacks. Now, I have videos where they have directly turned up without a warrant, without announcing that they're going to turn up, interfering with my privacy, my family home, threatening my family, threatening me, right? Yet he says here everyone has the right to protection of the law against such interference or attacks. Now you see these public servants don't know anything, they're just following orders because they're scared little cowards. And you see the fascists, the Nazis, yeah, the Gestapo, they was little cowards as well, because they couldn't say no. They would rather make some money and kill people than say no. Right? Everyone has the right to freedom of movement and residence within the borders of each state. State would need defining as well. Everyone has the right to leave any country, including his own, and return to his country. So you have the right to leave and you have the right to return. Right? Anyone trying to block that is committing a war crime. Article 14, everyone has the right to seek and to enjoy in other countries asylum from persecution, because we are being persecuted, and if it continues I shall require the most amount of money from me and my friends to leave this place. This right may not be invoked in the case of prosecutions genuinely arising from non-political crimes or from acts contrary to the purpose and principles of the United Nations. So in other words, if you break this human rights, yeah, then you're not going to be allowed to just go and roam everywhere, because, you know, they want to at least find out what you've done and take you and ask you questions. Yeah, that seems sensible. But it's arising from non-political crimes. Now, a political crime, right, when you talk politics, these are the thoughts we have. Everything we discuss, everything we have an opinion of, is politics. I don't care about them people that say, oh, I don't like politics, don't speak politics. Everything that comes out their mouth is political. It's an opinion on something. So we should continue anyway, because, you know, you've seen them being censored. Everyone has the right to a nationality. No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his nationality, nor denied the right to change his nationality. Did they say that in Guantanamo Bay? Article 16, men and women of full age. Well, every age is a full age. Without any limitation due to race, nationality or religion, have the right to marry and to found a family. They are entitled to equal rights as to marriage, during marriage, and at its dissolution. Marriage shall be entered into only with the free and full consent of the intending spouses. You see, even we know, you don't force a contract. And you see, these marriage contracts are, marriage and wedding are two different things. Marriage is a joining of consciousness, and a wedding, it's just a celebration where you spend lots of money trying to prove to everybody that you're Kim Kardashian. Okay? Simple as that. It's a waste of time. People will be much better served, right, ensuring that people have their home and their job and are well provided for. This is why I respect, you see, the Jewish community. They've got it sorted. They look after each other. Yeah? The money stays within them. It circles round and round and round. But we'll go into that in another day. Let's continue. Alright? Marriage shall be entered with consent. Okay? Part 3. The family is the natural and fundamental group unit of society and is entitled to protection by society and the state. There's that word society again. Must mean the law society. So the laws are in favour of protecting family and the natural family and the fundamental group unit of society. It is fundamental. If you interfere in that in any way, it is as if the highest crime of the land has been committed. Do you understand what fundamental means? Article 17. Everyone has the right to own property, as well as in the association of others. Now, again, it's not a right if you have to get someone's permission. No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his property. Yeah, possession is 9/10 of the law. Article 18. Everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right includes freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom, either alone or in community with others, and in public or private, to manifest his religion or belief in teaching, practice, worship, and observance. So if you're a Rasta man, you want to smoke your weed, do it. And the police have got no right to stop you. Article 19. Everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This includes freedom to hold opinions without interference, and to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas through any media, and regardless of frontiers. That means if we went into outer space, these rules are still abided by the human race. Okay, and that's all of us here. Article 20. Everyone has the right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association. Okay? No one may be compelled to belong to an organisation or an association. Now, society is an association, and the Law Society seems to be thinking that it can govern everybody with acts and statutes that are invented contract laws. Okay? They was mainly put there, the main purpose of these contracts was to ensure that the government and the corporations do not injure and damage the people, they do not run away wild. But look, they've broken the laws, and clearly by breaking the laws can you see the resultant to the country. The evidence that they broke the law should be clearly in your face. From when the country is not working, a law must have been broken. Do you understand? Right. Everyone has the right, this is a brilliant bit, everyone has the right to take part in the government of a country directly. That means you are allowed to be directly in the government. No one can tell you can't. No one can forbid you. You have the right. Right? It's not a discretionary thing. Rights are not arbitrary. They're not chosen by other people. Oh, I don't think you should have it. Oh, you've not got a special suit on. Oh, we don't know you. You have the right. Everyone has the right. Everyone has the right to take part in the government of his country directly. And so you're not confused, or is a big word. It means instead of, through freely chosen representatives. That means you're voting. So the people that you voted in is because you have given consent to them through a freely chosen representative. But if you don't agree with their opinion, or no one's saying what you want to hear, or no one's doing what you're thinking is a right and proper duty, then you have the right to take part in the government of your country. Okay, using the word his country seems a bit sexist as well, because we're not all hises, are we? But anyway, it seems to be talking about titles here. Everyone has the right of equal access to public service in his country. Yeah, that means all the public services that they're trying to close down and shut down, we have the right to them. Right? This is why partly they're trying to sell it off, because then it's not a public service. They could say, oh no, it's a private corporation, the police is a private corporation. But when did you consent to these things being set up to then be stolen from you and set up as private corporations? So they can only, the only reason corporations exist is to make profit and to make money. So therefore they're going to invent crimes, because without inventing crimes, the lawyers can't get fed, and the police can't get fed, and the judge can't get fed, and all these people that are in the law society that tell people yes, no, up, down, what is black, what is white, and you have to just follow it according to them, unless you question it. You understand? You've seen already how a lot of what they're saying does not make sense. Right? The will of the people shall be the basis of the authority of government. So, in other words, all of us are people. We all have a will. This will be expressed in periodic and genuine elections. So that's one way of doing it, because as you've seen, you have that right to be directly involved. And you see, since it's a right, you're not there stuck waiting for some people to vote for you and say, oh, I need your vote because otherwise I don't have the right. You have the right. Why you need consent from voting is you are representing their will. And in representing their will, you need to get a contract to say, well, no, I'm not just saying it, they said I could do it. Okay, this is expressed periodically in genuine elections, which I don't believe we've ever had in the history of elections, which shall be by universal and equal suffrage, and shall be held by secret vote or by equivalent free voting procedures. Now that is a part I have a very secret vote. No, anything secret and secretive, that's abhorrent. So I'm not into that one. Right? That's abhorrent. And in other words, this is trying to cancel out the first one. But what it's saying is that I think the people that have voted will fall under this, but the people that don't vote won't fall under that. Okay, anyway, Article 22. Everyone, as a member of society, has the right to social security benefits and is entitled to realisation through national effort and international cooperation in accordance with the organisation and resources of each state of the economic, social and cultural rights indispensable for his dignity and the free development of his personality. Now, you know my personality is big. I got a big personality, right? My economic, social and cultural rights, well, yo, you need to know who I am. And really, you don't know who I am. You thought you knew who I am, but you don't know who I am. One day you may know who I am, if you're lucky. Anyway, we'll move on, because these things are indispensable for our dignity. Do you know what dignity is? It means not going outside with your trousers round your ankles, or with your half-arse out like a lot of these people do. Dignity. Yeah? And there's more than that. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you. Let's get through this. Right. Article 23. Everyone has the right to work, to free choice of employment, to just and favourable conditions of work, and to protection against unemployment. Which again relates to the first one. So you have protection. And these are the rights. They don't say, oh, we pick and choose when you get it. Everyone, without any discrimination, has the right to equal pay for equal work. That's a fucking huge one. Fucking huge. Equal pay for equal work. Many of these lazy buggers don't do anywhere near the work that I do. I would challenge them to write an original document similar to any of my documents. I will challenge them. They can't do it. They're dumb. They could only copy me. Everyone who works has the right to just and favourable remuneration, ensuring for himself and his family an existence worthy of human dignity. There's that word, dignity. And supplemented, if necessary, by other means of social protection. So in other words, if we need something and we say, this is not enough, we need some more, please, you have to give it to us. I've done that, and I refuse to do this, and I have it in writing. Can you see how many laws that they're breaking? Anyway, let's continue. Everyone has the right to form and join trade unions for the protection of his interests. Okay, what have they done to the trade unions? Yeah, what was Margaret Thatcher doing? What has this government been continually doing? And paying off and buying off and selling things and selling hospitals. So now you get McDonald's running hospitals. Yeah? Is that right? Everyone has the right to rest and leisure. Of course they do. Including reasonable limitation of working hours and periodic holidays with pay. Everyone, including people on benefits, have the right to rest and leisure, including holidays with pay. So this idea that, oh, we're stopping your benefits because you go on holiday, rubbish! 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 Complete lie! Article 25. Everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of himself and his family, including food, clothing, housing, medical care, necessary social services, and the right to security in the event of unemployment, sickness, disability, widowhood, old age, or other lack of livelihood in circumstances beyond his control. Now, would you not say that this orchestrated bank destruction, which they've called the recession, which means to cede back power from the government to which power was given to the first government from which power was obtained, go and look in your law books, does not mean we have less money. Doesn't mean that. That is the effect of a recession. What it means is something else. Go look up in a law book, dummies. So, everyone has these rights. The right to security and things. That'll be under his control. But I noticed they put social services in there, and I think some people are abusing that duty of care and turn it into a duty of scare. I say, oh no, we was good, so unless you film them and catch them in the act and see that they're actually behaving unlawfully and threatening and intimidating and punching you in the ribs and things like that, because this is what they do when the cameras aren't rolling. That's why it is our right. Motherhood and childhood are especially entitled to special care and assistance. All children, whether born in or out of wedlock, shall enjoy the same social protection. Now, I'm someone's child, so that means to me, all people. Everyone has the right to education. Everyone. Education shall be free, at least in the elementary and fundamental stages. Elementary education shall be compulsory. Technical and professional education shall be made generally available, and higher education shall be equally accessible to all on the basis of merit. Now, it doesn't say that you have to go to their school. It just says that you have to have an education. Education shall be directed to the full development of the human personality. This is what they don't like. People with personality and character and know how to ask questions, and the strengthening of respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms. That's me. Alright, I strengthen respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms. It shall promote understanding, tolerance and friendship amongst all nations. So we're not going to say, oh, Assad and those Muslims, and oh, look at those black people, oh, you know, people immigration, all rubbish. Just an excuse because you feel inadequate. It's a racist tendency that 99.99% of all people, every single person in the world, has a tendency towards racism, which is really a discrimination against anyone who's not them, basically. Right, let's get through this quickly. Education shall be directed to the development of human personality, strengthening of respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms. It should promote understanding, tolerance, friendship amongst all nations, racial, religious groups, and shall further the activities of the United Nations for the maintenance of peace. And you've just seen Obama, Barry Obama, or Obama, yeah, just get told off by Putin, because Putin realised that the rest of the world was with him now. And he could say this thing to this guy for once. We are the ones that enable them to do what they need to do, you know. So we have to do this. Right? Parents have a prior right to choose the kind of education that shall be given to their children. Do you see that? Do you see that? So if you don't want them to go to that crappy school to be educated by government, and in fact you want the money so that you can do it yourself, as you've seen earlier, they have to give you the money. They have to give you what you need to get it. Now we're also saying that parents have the right to choose. So if you don't want that, you can choose to educate them at home, and you get paid the money to provide the facilities. The portion that you would have received for your child, that is entitled to by law. And they have a certain amount of spending that they spend on everybody. But you see, if you need more, they'll have to produce that anyway. So no worries there. Everyone has the right freely to participate in the cultural life of the community, to enjoy the arts and share in scientific advancement and its benefits. Really? So if they bring out, I don't know, free energy, solar power, I'm entitled to that, yes? It's a right, you see. It's a right. And to enjoy the arts, well, you know, cinema, things like that, they cost money. So I have the right to get money to go to the cinema, do you see? Everyone has the right to protection of the moral and material interests resulting from any scientific, literary or artistic production of which he is the author. I am an author. I write my own letters, I write my own documents, I write my own notices, I write my own songs, I don't copy people, right? You see, that is my intellectual property. They're trying to affect my liberty and my ability to find work by blocking my songs, by blocking the Reverb Nation continually, not allowing me to post links on Facebook when you've just clearly seen, and you can go back to the beginning of the video if you don't believe what you saw with your own eyes. Okay, and I will also be posting photos for those people that want to look at it at more detail. Okay, really easy to prove a liar to be a liar, you know. They've got no facts, nothing to back it up. Right? Everyone has the right to protection of his moral and material interests resulting from any scientific, literary, or artistic production of which he is the author. I am the author of my things. I am entitled to it. It is my right. Article 28. Everyone is entitled to a social and international order in which the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration can be fully realised. Everyone has the right to, is entitled to a social and international order. Now, a social and international order, depending on who makes the order, well, the government would have to pay for that in order to secure your rights and freedoms. And if they don't do that, they're a war criminal. Everyone has duties in the community in which alone and free and full development of this personality is possible. In the exercise of his rights and freedoms, because I like to exercise and keep fit. That's why I look so young. Everyone shall be subjected to such limitations as are determined by law solely for the purpose of securing due recognition and respect for the rights and freedoms of others and of meeting the just requirements of morality, public order and the general welfare in a democratic society. Now it seems they're turning democracy into a demon craft. You see, they claim you have these freedoms but then want to take them away because they decide. But that makes them a war criminal straight away. So they're confused. Do you understand? In the exercise of these rights, yes, these rights and freedoms may in no case be exercised contrary to the purposes and principles of these United Nations. So, and then Article 30, nothing in this declaration may be interpreted as implying for any state, group or person any right to engage in any activity, to perform any act aimed at the destruction of any of the rights and freedoms set forth herein. So nothing can prevent this. This document is enshrined by all nations. All nations back it up. The whole world. Right? So, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Get to know it. Read it for yourself. Okay? These people are behaving like war criminals. They don't just break common law. They don't just break acts and statutes. They don't understand what they're talking about. They don't know what the words mean. They don't know what the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is. And therefore, they should not even be in public office. They're taking jobs when there are intellectual, knowledgeable, trained people who know these things and who could do a far better job than what they could do. Yeah? I challenge any of them to do my job, and I will do their job for a day. I challenge any of them. Do my job for a day. I'll do your job for a day. Let's see who does best, eh? I challenge you.